The next drill we're going to talk about is block starts for team sport athletes. Yes, block starts for team sport athletes. I think block starts are a great means for helping a team sport athlete get into proper positions for acceleration. Since you're in such a great position, right, it does help with starting strength capabilities. And let's just be honest, what team sport athlete doesn't want to shake it up and have some novelty and feel like an Olympic sprinter every now and then? Okay, so in terms of the block setup itself, all right, a good rule of thumb for beginners, or if you don't know where to begin with your team sport athletes, is to have the first foot pedal 2 foot lengths away from the start line, from where your heel is. Okay, 2 lengths of your foot away, and the back foot block, geez Louise, is 3 foot lengths away. In terms of the foot pedals themselves, okay, the back foot pedal will always be 1 notch higher or steeper than the front pedal. Okay, so this pedal will always be 1 notch lower than this one here. Okay, so in terms of how the athlete gets into it, all right, Chase will load out his hands in front and he will back up his feet into the blocks. He's literally pushing his feet into those blocks there. Okay, now it's a matter of preference. You can have your athlete's toes be on the ground, or you can have their entire foot be on the foot pedal, whatever is most comfortable to them. You can push back a little bit more than the right foot there, Chase, that boy, good. Again, it's all about comfort here. So Chase likes a wide stance with his hands, all right? So behind the line, his gaze will be a few feet in front, all right? So I don't want to see his head tucked like this. This is not a very good position here to run, okay? So I want his gaze right out in here. Right? Same thing for the 3-point start. He's going to lift his hips nice and high. Okay? Now, when you see your athletes, right, their hands should be directly underneath their shoulder. If Chase is leaned too far forward like this, you can relax a second, his body, as a way to balance itself, is going to throw its hand back. Okay? It's much easier, as Derek always told me, to throw our hands back, right, than to throw them forwards there. So we want to help the athlete out by making sure that his or her hands are right under their shoulders there. Okay? So the hips will be nice and high. Gaze out in front, and then whenever Chase is ready, he's going to flick his left hand. All right, so a few more points we wanted to touch on as your athlete is getting out of the blocks, or during the setup rather, okay? So again, it's important that they have the athlete's hands just outside their knees, all right, or wherever is comfortable for them, okay? Again, the gaze is super important, like Chase did a great job of there, all right? And then when Chase lifts his hips up high, it's no different than the kickstand start, right? Because the angle that Chase sets up in is the angle he will go out at, right? So I don't want Chase nice and coiled up. I want his hips super high so we can have that nice launch angle there. But just like the kickstand start, his left foot or his left knee is in front. So to initiate the action, all we want is Chase to flick that left hand forward. With your athletes, I like the word flick or fling because it doesn't require much effort. If you say throw or lurch, lunge, right? They're going to tense up, right? And we want the athlete to be powerful, not feel powerful, right? It's not to say that everything isn't happening, that push and that explosive get off isn't happening, but if you're feeling it, that means you're spending too much time on the ground. It should feel like nothing, right? Derek always told me, be powerful, don't feel powerful, okay? Last point, with the flick and the arm action getting out of the blocks, as with any start in general, for that matter, right? I want your athlete to be like he or she is sweeping the ground away, okay? Almost like, you can relax, Chase, that's a long time in there. Almost like the athlete is treating his elbows like poison. The elbows are poison for his or her rib cage there, right? We don't want the athlete to be nice and tight here because again, we're going to get that rotation, right, in our lumbar spine, and whatever is happening here, contralaterally, if my hand is tight here, my right leg is going to be on the ground for a much longer time. Whereas if my elbow is away from my body, right, there isn't going to be that much ground contact time on the backside. You're not going to be pushing for nearly as long. So we want them to get their hands away, or yes, elbows are poison for their ribs. Here we go, Chase, set it up. So first foot pedal, 2 foot lengths away, second foot pedal 3 foot lengths away, pushing back into the blocks wherever your athlete is comfortable with his or her hands. Gaze out in front here. Hips up nice and high. I'll give you a set, hit, Chase. Set, hit. That's an American football wide receiver, not a track athlete coming out of the blocks. That's how you perform the block start.